All right, y'all, we're back, and today we're going to be reviewing a video that was put up by Clayton Morris at Redacted. We're going to link the whole video down below so you can watch it at your leisure uninterrupted, but we just wanted to look at a certain portion of this video today. We'll jump right into the video. Matt, you got anything?
We are starting this video at minute
7:25.
7:25, so there you go. All right, so before we start today's video, I would love for you to subscribe. It's free for you to do, so we're waiting. We're waiting for you to subscribe, and then we will. All right, let's get into it.
What the World Economic Forum just launched, which is their new financial system collapse. This is what, and this is like a trailer for what they are about to do to us, guys. Watch this. This is jaw-dropping. So what happens if you can't access your money? I mean, we have to imagine, we recently saw what happens to, like, in Greece, in Afghanistan, and most recently in Lebanon, where a man went into a bank branch to get his money, and he was told that he couldn't get it. And what did he do? He brought a gun back. He's like, I want my money back. I want to take.
I want to point something out here. So the little WEF commercial programming brainwashing thing that they did, it basically they're explaining how ephemeral the banking supply chain is and the cyber networks and all these things. I don't know if this was a really long time ago. I don't know if anybody remembers the supply chain issues globally that happened like a really long time ago, like 6 months ago. And now what they are is they're flashing their gang signs, you know?
Yeah.
And they're telling you that there's all these cyber security risks. You can look up cyber polygon, stuff like that. Earlier, Clayton was talking about the IMF and how they ran their cyber polygon and they mimicked these cyber threats. So what they're telling you is they're not saying this might happen. They're saying that this will happen. And then they'll obviously facilitate that. And this will be the impetus for central bank digital currency, probably.
I want to take care of my family.
And then became a national hero.
Right, because there wasn't the money in the banks. They had a 40% inflation rate.
Yeah.
Right?
No, the money's in Harry's house, and the money's over in Cheryl's house. You see, it's not here.
Right.
It never is. It's never in the bank. Right? That's the great
No, in fact,
great problem here.
It used to be that the bank had to keep at least 10% of all deposits in the bank and then lend out 90%. That was dropped, I think, during COVID to... Was it 0% or less than 5%?
It was 0. It went down to 0.
Right.
Well, fractional lending started while that they have not had to hold a 10% cash position.
Wow.
I want to say it was like 0.1%. But yeah, I mean, this fractional lending stuff and has at least been going on for 10 years. So this didn't happen during COVID.
0.
Right.
Now they don't have to have anything.
They don't have to have any, so they can continue to create money based on a shared belief system.
Yeah, it's a fractional reserve banking, which is they only had to, if you put in $100, they only had to keep $10 in the bank.
It's not fraction anymore. It's full reserve banking, zero reserve.
So this tweet from Alchemical Daddy, pointed this out and did some great job collating some of this, and some of this I forgot about. But the symbolism is potent in this ad. Extreme weather freezing your bank account equals liquidity freeze. Warning of the severe snowstorm or cyber attack, climate change, and cyber pandemic programming. Have a ripple effect, it says. It hints at a solution, Ripple, XRP, maybe. But definitely a digital currency, right? And their own way to control it. The gist of the platform is that and they actually, the WEF rolled out their own platform on poverty, which is about the financial inclusion. So you can read this right on the World Economic Forum's website. The gist of this platform is that we can remove poverty if you give us control of your money. Don't use cash.
Oh yes, this absolutely.
It's like those people. The people that hide money under your mattress, guess what? You will not be able to hide money anywhere in this system. Like, you will not be able to hide a penny.
No, we will
will see it
control it all. We don't want you to have any, like, you know, you're going to go to a garage sale on the weekend. None of that. Sorry, that's out the window. You're not going to do any of that. You will literally tap and pay.
I'm fascinated how any of y'all that have ever been involved in the restaurant industry or the pizza shop industry and these different cash cow, mom and pop entities, many of them are run by organized crime, by the way. It's going to be very interesting how they implement this coin operated laundromats. The list goes on and on. It's going to be definitely going to be challenging, which is why it is going to take it is going to have to take a cataclysmic event to implement this. It's going to be
Very
like,
true.
you know, greatest depression / nuclear threats / I don't know what, because there's no way that these cash-based businesses are going to conform to this, because it's going to completely expose their cash flow, like, exclusively. So I don't quite see, but since all the mobsters are in bed with the district of criminals, maybe they'll figure out a way to work it all out. I'm not really sure.
So why does WEF want to get rid of cash or eliminate it?
They want to control everything, and it's always done under the guise it's just for the poor people. And if you do this, if you have no autonomy, if you have no control over anything, and you have no choices, and we are the technocrats, we are the erudites, and we know what is right for humanity, so we're going to make all the right decisions. This is why you can't eat meat, you know, because cows fart. And this is why you can't have cash, because there's poor people in Haiti. So if you show us all your cash and redeem it for some central bank digital currency, there will no longer be rich people. A Freudian slip, sorry. Now there will no longer be poor people, and now the rich people will have everybody's money, and the poor people will obviously stay poor. The middle class will evaporate, opportunity will evaporate, and total control, panopticon, track and trace, social credit score. This implementation is just another means of total control, beast system control, total, absolute, global tyranny. This is not a U.S. thing. This is a global thing, and these are global unelected leaders and public-private partnerships of these mega national corporations that what they do is just like here in America, the FDA chairman, the head of the FDA, well, he'll spend 12 years at Monsanto and then he'll come back and work for the FDA, or he'll be at Cargill, and they do this kind of stuff where these public privates jump back and forth, and that way the wolf guards the hen house kind of thing. And it's like what's the analogy of democracy? It's 2 wolves and a lamb that's gonna vote on what's for dinner, kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. That's kind of like, and if you think you're going to vote your way out of this, it's kind of like that. So something to think about.
We'll make sure that those people have, point of sale things at the garage sale, so you can just tap your device, right? This is why we need gold and silver. Like, this is why we need tangible assets, guys, because they are coming for it. So in this piece, how financial inclusion can help lift people out of poverty at the World Economic Forum, and they specifically point to women. They say financial inclusion, including access to digital financial services, is an important policy objective because it helps people manage their money better. Accounts give you greater control over your money, your financial life. It empowers women.
In fact, this was part of the narrative that Bill Clinton went around the press this weekend talking about at his Clinton Global Initiative. And he said some of the best things that we've done here at the Clinton Global Initiative to help progress in third world countries is we give these microfinancing to women, their businesses.
Right.
And that providing them with these loans really helps to lift up an entire economy, lifts them out of poverty, right? But these microloans, guess who gets to track them? Guess who makes money on them, right? This was a big part of his message, which again, most of the Western media let him say with full access platforms on the airwaves this weekend.
Yeah, and of course, no contradictory statements or no pressing him
No.
on this. Oh, 1 billion people are in poverty and 1 billion people don't have access to banks. What if we could control all of those people by giving them a digital bank account that we control?
Oh, and debt,
Well, you're not-
right?
Yeah, and that's how we keep Africa and all these other countries in poverty, is with the IMF and making sure that they're in loan and debt to us.
You're missing a huge point, though. You're missing the biggest point. Like, how are we ever going to? It's going to be a sacrifice to tax the wealthy. That's the only way we can do it, is by these microtransactions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because we know that the bulk of, yeah, exactly. Again, the IRS getting 86,000 new agents at the IRS. It's not to go after the wealthy. It's to go after poor people. That's exactly what it's about. So how is this all unfolding? Well, we've seen some examples of this, like in news reports. How about this woman who can't get access? Everything in her account's just frozen. She can't get access to it. So she has no money. It's all frozen. Here's how it happens. Watch.
It was a disastrous deep freeze that lasted more than half a year. A New Jersey healthcare worker's bank account inexplicably frozen. All of the money she had in the world suddenly out of her grasp. She was near the breaking point until a friend gave what she calls the best advice. Call Nina Pineda and get 7 on her side.
No? Okay.
So he called ABC News.
We've seen this happen before also with the frozen bank account thing back when there was the trucker protest up in Canada also, and a lot of those people got their bank accounts frozen, and also millions of dollars were raised on GoFundMe. They just pretty much just took all that money and stuffed it in their pockets. And yeah, it was very sad. And that's another reason why you shouldn't have your money in these banks, or at least a lot of money. Personally, our family, we keep a little bit of money in the banks just because you kind of have to get through life, and with your credit cards and debit cards and stuff like that, it makes it very easy. But I would definitely not recommend keeping all of your money in there, because at any point of time, they can lock her up.
And yeah, and we saw it back during the mortgage crisis with the mortgage-backed securities. There was Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, and I had a very large customer that had over $600,000 in a money market account. And they froze his check writing money market account because they said it was exposed to Lehman paper. It was a money market account that got like 2.5% interest, check writing money market. They froze his $600,000 for way over 6 months, and he was irate. They did eventually unfreeze it, but these are the kind of shenanigans that banks play.
Called ABC News, and we got Nina Pineda on our side. Here's another man who can't get access to his money. Watch this one.
Many banks closing branches as more customers bank online and fewer go into the bank in person. But for one East Bay man, it caused a mild panic, actually. The Bank of America shut down his branch just hours after he made a huge deposit and his money disappeared. So you can imagine how worried he was. So he came to 7 on Your Side's Michael Phineas.
Wow.
Oh, well, there you go.
Everyone's going to ABC to get 7 on their side to get my money back. But this is how the WEF plans to, scare us about the financial system. I want to play this again. Just watch their messaging now that we've had some context here. Watch. So we got to make sure we're taken care of at the World Economic Forum. We'll take care of you. This is, and it is like a soft launch for like what they're planning to do. It's like here, and they've done this before. Like, here's a few videos, here's a few news articles, here's part of our platform. Watch this unfold about COVID. I mean, again, all of the stuff was there, right? Yeah. Here we are, lockdowns, everything. Here we are on our website. We're saying this could happen. We're not really sure, but we think that it might happen. So, be prepared, because we want to install a universal digital currency that we will control.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Well, this weekend, our daughters bought those leather folders that you like put credit cards in to, when you go out to eat. And our youngest one was like, what if you don't have money? Because they're just plain restaurant, right? So they like wrote out these credit cards, and they're like, what if you don't have money with you? And you can't pay. And I was telling our youngest, you have to wash dishes. So I wonder if you don't have a digital way to pay, will you then be washing dishes? Right?
I guess. I mean,
and can you wash them digital?
If you don't have a digital way to pay, you'll be banished. You'll be there will be the haves and the have-nots, and your wallet, even if you have money, your wallet will be turned on and off, like we talked about the carbon wallet.
Yeah.
Your wallet will be turned on and off based upon your social credit score.
Doesn't even matter how much money you make.
Your social credit will be determined by some arbitrary point system made up by a bunch of technocrats that involves like your opinions on how many genders there are and all these other different arbitrary, whether or not you eat red meat and whether or not you think that cow farts are killing the planet. And that's where, it's clown world 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
And we're living in it. I want to get off the crazy ride.
Wash them digitally.
It's amazing to think like where we would have a totally cashless, no government currency. There would be no, there'd be no EU, there would be no pound, there would be no ruble.
But the government's main line against Bitcoin was that it was too complicated for the average person. But then this form of a cashless society isn't. It sort of breaks apart that argument.
Right. Like I was sort of on the side of, okay, I see this during a disaster, right? Here's the idea that we're going to create a digital currency that in the case of a disaster and your bank is closed because of a hurricane, right? Your town is destroyed. Well, how are you going to get money for basic items, right? If you have no access to your money, you can't go to an ATM, you can't do any of that. What we will do in the form of an emergency is we will then make deposits into your digital wallet, the government-controlled Jerome Powell central bank digital wallet, and then you'll be able to use that. Now I've got a few, okay, great, stimulus money is here, boom, I'm good to go. I saw the merit in that. But this is how, once you see the merit in it, you also see like this is the backdoor way of getting you to be compliant. Yeah. Right? Is to scare you with this idea of there's a hurricane, there's this and that. And this is why you need a digital wallet. This is why you should never use cash.
Well, right now we have the petrodollar. So another thing that's going to happen is they're going to have to collapse the petrodollar. And it's very interesting how in the U.S. here we're being prohibited from mining our own oil. OPEC is being called on to provide more oil, but now OPEC is saying, now that they've colluded with the powers that shouldn't be, now they're saying that they're going to slow production, which is going to make prices skyrocket. And maybe this is create a frenzy for the masses to want to demolish the petrodollar, but the petrodollar has to cease to exist probably before they implement this central bank digital currency, which will be a global, universal currency. I'm thinking like Book of Revelation status, y'all. Like a global, has there ever been a global currency? It's interesting stuff.
And we will control everything you need from now on.
Yes, but then they are the beneficiary of pro-crypto research, right? Like, yes, that's a great way. It's safe. We can simulate the blockchain. You guys are all on board with it, but let us control it.
Right. Yeah. Forget Bitcoin. We'll control our own digital currency. Go ahead, David.
Well, I was just going to say, like, this is like think about like if they have an argument about your taxes and you don't figure them out right, and they're like, oh no, you owe this, and like, no, I have an accountant or I have a lawyer that's figuring this out, and they just shut off your money. Like they'll just shut it off.
This is what Elizabeth Warren wants to do, is create a federally run H&R Block type system that calculates what you pay and then takes it from you immediately. Whereas with H&R Block, you can say, I don't think that deduction was taken right. I want to ask an expert about this, or I want to move this. No, with the federal system, if Liz Warren gets her way, it will be federally run. You put everything in, it calculates, it takes from you, you're done here. Which terrifies me.
Scary. Let us know in the... Go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, I wonder if I'm the only person that, like, during this story I've checked my own bank account twice just to be sure
that it's still there.
I mean, this is the thing. It can be seized, taken. You know. So again, this is why we need to protect our families. I mean, this is a show about protecting your family tonight. Like, how do you protect your family? You know, making sure that you have some way. I mean, Catherine Austin Fitts talks about during when the collapse of the Soviet Union happened, the number one most valuable thing that people were trading was vodka. And literally, it was a currency. It became a currency. So I'm not saying everyone go out and buy vodka, but what I'm telling you is that, like, when it hits the fan, we need to be prepared with real, tangible things: gold, silver.
So he's given you some very good alternatives there. We highly recommend having some of your assets in gold and silver. And people say all the time, how much? I think it makes sense to have the predominance of your hard assets in silver, because as a store of value, it's a smaller currency size, so it'll be easier to barter with. I prefer what's called junk silver, which is pre-64 US or Canadian currency. You can buy junk silver, and because it's a known weight, it's a known value, we know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can have
physical.
Yeah, you can have nickels and dimes, and there's real value there, and we'll know what it is. It'll be easily exchangeable.
Yeah.
But this is what the Food 401k is all about. This is what Dirt Coin's all about. It's about having real physical assets, whether it's land where you're planting your infrastructure, or whether it's fruit trees, or whether it's ducks, or whether it's chickens, or which is why all these different avian flus, they want to come after every potential possibility of any type of store of value, and they want to destroy it. So this is why it pays to absolutely be diversified, not just in different types of crypto, not just in different types of cash. I'm completely opposed to any kind of synthetic investment on the stock market or the bond market. They're super hoaxy. There is no real value there, and the only thing faker than the US dollar is the stock market and the bond market and the commodities market, and they're so heavily controlled, contrived, and manipulated. But this is why we Homestead, this is why we do what we do. This is why we save the seeds, right, for the next year for our garden. This is why we're putting up a greenhouse, to be able to grow more year round, to be less reliant on the supply chain. So we've mostly just been talking about the supply chain of goods and services. Yes. Now we're talking about the supply chain for our infrastructure to as a modicum of exchange. And this is why I really like what the Beef Initiative is doing, and they're taking regenerative agriculture and they're piggybacking it on top of cryptocurrency, because they're attempting to make a parallel economy in which you can buy a high quality regenerative meat source with a parallel economy, with a parallel currency. I'm not into crypto. I continue to research it and study it and try to understand it. I'm not there yet. That's why I had the Food 401k, y'all. If I understood it, I would have really heavy positions in it. I could have very well lost a lot of money in it. I don't know. I could have made a lot of money in it. I've just never been comfortable with it. I want to be able to understand it.
Yeah.
And all the online and password stuff just give me the heebie-jeebies is all. And that's probably going to be at some point in time maybe to our detriment. I want to get involved in the space just to be able to continue to interact and purchase online, because I do believe that's still going to be a thing moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's where I think crypto has an absolute application and value. I don't see crypto as a long-term store of value, and maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with the gold and silver that we have and that I purchased a really long time ago. It still has a very good store of value.
Yeah.
It didn't evaporate. It didn't go away.
Nope.
And as they are less able to manipulate those values through the paper assets, that will continue to rise to kind of where it should be. Silver, well, I won't get into the whole gold and silver thing now, but you got anything else, Matt?
I would definitely say about the gold and silver, the little bit that I've learned, I think it's gonna have to get a little bit more valuable over time, because all of the documentaries that I've watched anyway, unlike oil, which regenerates itself, gold and silver does not. And every year the land prices are going up, and these big mining operations keep sucking up land and going through it all. And, you know, I think once they start reaching the end of it, which, you know, it's gonna be quite a while, but, you know, when they're sucking through hundreds of acres at a time each year, I would think that the price of silver and gold would have to go up.
Yeah, that's part, you know, they've been aggressively mining it, which helps actually, believe it or not, that helps keep the price down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's putting more into inventory. But you are right, you know, as that continues to diminish.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is as oil prices go up and that machinery cost gets more, more
Steel,
people will get
everything.
out of the game and stop doing it, which will also drop the supply, which will push the price up. So
there you go.
Well, there you
But
go.
we are not financial.
Yeah, we're not financial experts.
Yeah,
This is not financial advice.
No, it's not. No, just our opinion. So if you would like to support our family and what we do around here, go check out TheTexasBoys.com. We got some local honey. We got some awesome t-shirts over there that I would love for you to go check out. Also, if you would like to see these videos ad-free, I would highly consider becoming a native. You can find that in the description down below. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.
See y'all.